when I read the script, I was just in pieces. I was just sobbing my eyes out. And there was an innocence to him, a purity to him, and a kind of a model for masculinity that you don't often get to see in mainstream entertainment right now. He was an incredibly strong man, but his strength didn't come from an ability to kill his fellow man. His strength came from his ability to stay true to himself and heal and love his fellow man. This isn't an example we often get to see as men, and I think a lot of women actually respond to the film in a really positive way because of that. I think because he's bringing a nurturing, loving energy to a horrific set of circumstances. You know, the battlefield.
It resonated very deeply with me in my heart. He really existed. We're not making any of this up, and it's just like astounding to me that someone could conduct himself in this way, in these hellish circumstances. I mean, you got someone with faith and conviction and an innocence and a simplicity going into hell itself, where the object is to kill one another, and men are reduced to the level of animals, and here's this man sort of honing his higher aspects and going into the same hell and saving lives in the midst of all this death. It's like a little flower in the wilderness. I mean, it's kind of a beautiful thing, and it's not really a war film. It's kind of like a love story. I mean, greater love hath no man than he laid down his life for his brothers, and Desmond did that again and again. It was ad nauseum almost. It was, in fact, he did it so much that you couldn't. Oh yeah, I think, Andrew and myself and Bill Mechanic and everybody, we all felt this tremendous responsibility to pay tribute and honor this guy's memory. Speak to that. I mean, it's.
Yeah. And it continues even now.
Yeah.
I think as we talk about it, you know, there's just so much possibility as well. I feel like everyone we've been talking to and whoever we're talking to now, whoever's watching this, there's an opportunity to witness a story about a man who walked among us, who offers us our own potential. There's something very inspiring about what he did, and it wasn't through any grandiose striving. It was only from being true to who he was in the simplest of ways, and I think that is what a true hero is.
Well, yeah, this was tricky. I'd never actually done the guns and explosions kind of thing before, so I was like, how do I do it? What do I want to see? The battles were kind of there in the script, but specifically not. You know, what shape did they have? Who's who and what's what and who's doing what and how does it happen? Was something that you had to visualize, and I used war footage and I read materials. I watched the Desmond stuff, talked to veterans, and indeed read history books, particularly going by the guy named Pfeiffer, to give me the idea of what it must have been like out there, and I tried to emulate that. It had its logistical difficulties. There's a lot to come together to get in that arch, and that Super 35 lens, and lucky for me, I had an excellent cast and crew and extras and everybody, even the lunch guys. Oh, just the simple truth of who that man was. I mean, he was all about love, and God is love, and it was also, he was willing to lay down his life for his fellows. I mean, there's no greater aspect of spirituality, love. I mean, that's intense. That's beyond the human realm. That's beyond instinct even. It's wholly higher and of another realm. So, how can you deny that? You're not going to say, oh, that's a bunch of rubbish. You can't be cynical about it. My God, it was the guy was a hero. And could any of you do it? Okay, you try that. It's a tall order.
Yeah, I think because he was given a set of options, and he didn't like them, but he knew he needed to serve, so he kind of created his own title, conscientious cooperator. I think he's singular in that way, and he's singular in the way that he didn't set out to be a hero at all. He just wanted to serve and be one of the many serving, and sewn into the fabric of that. And I think what sets him apart is this almost compulsion that he had to sacrifice himself for others. It didn't feel like a conscious choice at all. It felt like an instinctive pull, like a calling. And I think that's why so many people come away from learning about his story, seeing the film, overwhelmed and blown away, because of course you can't help but imagine what would I do in that situation. And I think, my first instinct is to run the hell away.
Sure.
The fact that he stayed up on top of that ridge, paused and prayed and asked himself, what do you want of me? That act alone is something to behold and to give honor. I think it's got everything. I really do. I think it's got something for everybody, and I think it's, Mel tells a story for everyone. He's not exclusive in how he tells a story. It's incredibly visceral. It's incredibly emotional. He deals with themes that are universal, and it's undeniable, the emotional impact of Desmond's life and what he did and how he started and where he ended, and I think people could leave the theatre feeling like they could be more fully themselves in their lives, and the better version of themselves in their lives, whatever that means. It's a real inspiring story as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Desmond is awe-inspiring. I mean, it's like, wow. I'm in awe of someone who could do what he did, and certainly inspired. And and his actions have inspired others, to follow in his footsteps and do almost the same kind of stuff. And there were no guys doing that, no weapons in battle and just saving life. But other people knew of him, and they went in and they did the same kinds of things. And that's just like mind-blowing, that our shared experience and the best of us, he's like one of the best of us, that we can actually look at that example and maybe pinch a modicum of that and maybe apply it to ourselves, is a great thing. It's awe-inspiring.